small suggestion for chatting thing. In this YouTube, you can't see chat window after the end the session. Okay, so you need to give 5 to 10 minutes after the session. Okay. Within the live session, you just need to answer what like if viewers will ask you anything regarding this topic, then you have to just answer on chat or this thing. Okay. Okay. And you like you can start now if you are ready. I'm ready. So, are you able to see me? Just 1 second. I will give you thumbs up on chat right hand side. Okay. Yeah. I can see you. 4 people already in. Yes, because we are doing live chat, like live sessions at 5. Good evening to all. It's really great to be present here. And as I had mentioned, it's a great privilege to be sharing stage with stalwarts. And it's really a great experience. I'm sure people are able to hear me. And maybe one of you can just say yes if you're able to hear me. Good evening, all of you. I'm happy to see many of my friends, KP, Anup, and all those people who are there. I take this opportunity to thank Pratima for giving me this opportunity, and also Raki for setting it up so well. And Pratima was telling me that I'll take you to a global platform one day, and I understood what she meant when she made able for yesterday and gave this opportunity. And I'm sure you will find it quite interesting at the end of this session. I want to start with one experience that I had when I was just 21 years old. I was in a personality development program, and at that time, Robert was the trainer, I still remember. We were 35 of us who were actually undergoing some kind of a training that day. And each one of us was asked to speak about something about ourselves. So 29 people had already spoken. Many people spoke about what they were doing in their life and all that. And it was my turn. And I actually went completely blank at that time. And then he came and told me, saying that, Shikhar, come on, yeah, 29 others have expressed, and all what I want you to say is something about yourself and why are you struggling so much? And it was at that time, I don't know why I went blank. And then he said, why are you so terrified for something like this?
I went back in my life for the first 20 years and I was wondering what is there in my life for me to actually feel happy about and speak without getting terrified. Many people can boast of education. I thought of education and actually I was terrified. I always say two roads diverged and I took the road less traveled because the other road was leading to the school. Education was always at a distance, and I was probably the first one to do distant education in a regular school. I loved science, but science never loved me. We were a group of friends who used to sit together and keep chatting, and I say that we had a parental touch. I signed Ravi's progress card, Ravi signed my progress card, and that's how it is. And whenever there was an examination, my mom wanted me to touch 100. And I did that. Maybe after that, I took one or two tablets of Crocin and I became all right. So that's the only way I was touching 100. And I had a very revengeful approach with teachers. They used to ask me questions which I didn't know answers. So I used to give them answers which probably they didn't understand also. So that's the kind of revenge which I always used to have. For me, getting a score of 35-40 is so important at that stage. I mean, so much so that the impact of that you can see when I was playing cricket, when I scored 35 or 40, I used to raise my bat in celebration as if I had scored 100 or so. See, my dad had a dream that he wanted me to be an engineer. And that was his only dream. In fact, he saw an engineer in everything I did. When I picked up a tool to hit my brother, he would say, or tell my mom, saying, "See what that engineer is doing." So that's the kind of passion he had for me to become engineer. So when I scored around 53 or so in my 10th standard science, my mom put me into tuition, especially in the 12th standard. I know many of you also would have done that. So I had tuition almost every second minute in my life. Morning tuition, afternoon tuition, evening tuition, before food, after food. Every time it was tuition. When I stepped out of the house, it was only into tuition for physics, chemistry, and all that. Finally, when my 12th standards came, I actually scored 94 in science, but that was for 200. So science never loved me. So that's how it was. Now, but what happened? Many of my friends used to sit together, and then when we used to keep chatting as to what we should be doing, I think great constructive will be talking. But after I got my results, when I went and met those guys, one of the guys actually said that I have got a job in Dubai. So normally what happens, you will actually be good friends with people for long. But we all do a lot of things, mischievous things, and we are all partners in crime and all that. But when your friend, especially who was all along running around with you, who was loitering with you, who was actually spoiling together with you, and finally when he comes under that he has got a good job, you'll not be able to digest it. That was a very big blow, I should say, in my mind. So I suddenly a road less traveled actually become a roadless travel. When I had no road to travel, so I came back home. I was very disappointed. I was looking at the ceiling almost well past midnight. I was looking at the ceiling. Suddenly, my sister came and saw me, and she wanted to say something. She didn't say. And then my brother came and wanted to say something. He stood there for a few seconds, and then he didn't say, and he also went off. And then my father came. He looked at me for some time, and then he said something very profound, looking into my eyes. He said, "If you're not able to sleep, at least switch off the light. We can save electricity. So don't waste electricity." So nothing great happened in life, and nothing changed. And that is why when Robert asked me, "Say something about yourself," I was wondering, what is that which I can talk about? There is nothing that I can speak about education, and hence, even the thought of education actually terrified me. Okay, if that is not about education, then I was wondering, okay, if I can speak about skills. Coming to skills, I cannot boast of anything that I had on skills, but I have to give you some example as to what attempts I made when it came to skills. My mom, being a typical Tambram, wanted me to be part of some music class actually. So she, at the age of 14 or 15, I still remember on one Vijayadashmi day, she put me into a music class. In the music class, what happens, especially when you're on a Vijayadashmi day, they take everybody together. So that day, around four children who were around the age of 3 or 4 had joined. So they were with me, and I was the tallest there with 14 years or 15 years. I was sitting with them. They were already looking at me like this, and they were teasing me. And on top of it, she had actually, the music teacher, I still believe it was a torture for me at that time. The music teacher put me on to one senior. Senior is basically not by age, but more by experience in that school. I think there was somebody who had joined the previous Vijayadashmi, but that person was only 3 to 4 years old or so. And the way he came and took the class and made it a very difficult experience for me. See, when a 4-year-old is teaching music, you can actually, a 3-year-old or 4-year-old can relate to them very well. And he was literally treating me as a junior, and he was all set to rag me the whole of the session. And the teacher also was literally telling me, not telling me, she was telling me at me, saying that, Sridhar, you have to get your voice not from here, but from your stomach. That is how she was telling me. But I tried my level best. Voice did not come, only vomit came. So, I mean, music. Then she said, Sridhar, please do not torture music at all. And when my mom came, she said, I really understand your passion for music, but music is not for Sridhar. Can you just leave it? My over and to mom went and asked her, saying that maybe can I ask him to do a neck deep sadhaka, so that he will be able to get music. She said that's a good idea, but you need to make him neck deep is basically if you can make him stand upside down, neck deep is fine. So I mean, music also did not really work with me. So though my mother loved music, I loved music, but music also never loved me. So any of the skills for that matter in life did not work very well. So if you ask me, education was terrifying experience. I got terrified. Any skill that you take, that was also a terrifying experience for me. I got terrified. So I was wondering, so though every week this me, my mom used to actually go and take me to some music session. Okay, vocal is over, then some instrument. In fact, I have a music academy with me in terms of all the instruments, but it never turned out to be a love affair which matured into a relationship. Skill level was terrifying. So at that particular point of time, I was wondering what is there for me to speak? What is there which I will be able to say anything? If you look at my first 20 years of my life after the 21 years at that time, it was if you dedicate every one page for the life that I had, you probably find some minor scribbling or blank. And that is how it was. In fact, I was actually feeling like a mouse in an open land with no confidence, with no self-esteem, with no, in terms of anything that I could speak of. I was literally looking for like a mouse, how it look for a hole in an open land. I was looking for a hole to hide myself and then see how I can actually stay away from this world. And at that particular mindset, if you ask me at the age of 21, what is there for me to speak when so many people are speaking so much? I literally felt fainted. Literally felt fainted. I was not able to stand there at all. So the session got over. Next 5, 6 of them spoke. I went actually. I was about to leave. Then Robert came and told me, Sridhar, why don't you stay back for some time? So I thought maybe he's going to do some counseling or something. He said, I want you to spend some more time here. I want to watch a video. And once you watch this video, then I'll probably come and talk to you about it. So I thought maybe, yeah, it's a great idea. Somewhere, if you can get inspired by watching a video, then I thought he's going to give some Leo Kaka video or some cricketers video or some sports personality, theatre personality or something, so that we'll be able to motivate him. So then he gave a video cassette and that read Tom and Jerry. Imagine a personality development coach giving somebody who's already fainted having a terrifying experience, getting a Tom and Jerry video cassette to see. So I thought maybe the label is different. Inside the content could be something different because those days it can happen, right? Where you can, the cover could be different, the label could be different, but inside something else could be there. And we are all used to a different kind of movies before, right? So I thought it could be something else. And he said, you play, I will come back. For almost 30 to 40 minutes, I was watching literally Tom and Jerry. I really felt insulted. In fact, I paid 4,000 rupees for watching a Tom and Jerry. I just couldn't take it. So on top of it, 30, 40 minutes got over. On top of it, then Robert came and asked, Peter, I hope you enjoyed Tom and Jerry. I said, yeah, I enjoyed Tom and Jerry. Then he asked me saying that, can you tell me, what did you learn out of this Tom and Jerry video? I mean, that was height of it, right? I mean, first of all, he's giving me on Tom and Jerry video and then making me see it for half an hour. And then he's asking, what did you learn out of Tom and Jerry? So I knew that maybe because I didn't talk very well, I was probably the only one who didn't perform very well. He wanted to further insult me and then make me feel as small as possible, is what I was thinking. Then he made a profound statement which really changed my life, I should say. At least it laid foundation for me to change my life. He said, Sridhar, I don't know what did you understand out of it because I was keeping quiet. I didn't speak a word at that time. He said, Jerry is my greatest inspiration in life. Okay? How can it be the greatest inspiration in life? Then he spoke to me for the next 15-20 minutes and he gave some very profound statement. He said, Jerry is somebody who never surrenders or falls prey, come what may. Till the last minute, he keeps fighting it. Have you ever seen that? He asked me. I thought about it. Yeah, that's right. With the determination that he fights, he will never accept defeat. And he's somebody who will always keep fighting it out. And even from the jaw of death, literally, which means if there is a Tom and there is a jaw of death from Tom's jaw, if he has to come out, he's going to come out happily, and he will always be fighting till the end. He's a mouse. I mean, Jerry is a mouse, but it has the heart of a lion. Sridhar, do you know that? He asked. Yes. And the kind of confidence it shows that it really indicates that the size doesn't matter. So it really shook me a lot. And he said, nobody can make Jerry feel small until, and you cannot shake the confidence of Jerry till it decides to lose its confidence itself. That's the power of what Jerry has. And you cannot find a creature as small as that, exhibiting the kind of confidence it has. And maybe there are episodes either you would have seen, not just Tom, there could be a few other bigger creatures there. There could be human beings, there could be several other wild animals. It will actually come and throw you, no matter what life throws at you. You can actually show that you're not terrified, but you're terrified. And it was really a very, very bold, strong, powerful statement that he made, saying that I am like that, Sridhar. Whatever happens in my life, I am not going to give up and say that, I don't have anything to say. I'm not actually going to lose confidence and say that I'm lost. I will be like the Jerry. And that is why even a cat like Tom, because it demonstrates that kind of a power, it actually became a friend to Jerry. It was a very profound, even more profound statement for me. He said, though Tom and Jerry are supposed to be enemies, but because Jerry showed that kind of a confidence, spirit, fighting power, Tom also actually has developed love for that creature. And hence, they eventually, in many things, you will find that the Tom doesn't want to kill and it really becomes friend. Many other mice, when they actually gave up, it would have become a prey to Tom. But it was Jerry which demonstrated something different. And even an enemy can be actually, with your confidence, be pocketed on your side and your life can be transformed. It actually was an inspiring moment for me. I took a lot of messages that day and I went back home and my life continued and things were going on. Till a particular point of time, one day, of course, I'm in a sales job. On one particular sales closing day, many people who are in sales would know what's the kind of pressure we will have on sales closing day. My boss told me that you need to go to that hospital and take a 30,000 personal order booking from that hospital, come what may. And that's a tender closing day also, where if you actually are able to go convince the customers, you will be able to get the order. And the background of that is last 3 years we have been losing order with that customer to competitors. So there was no hope of we getting order, but the pressure was so high on the organization. My boss said, Sridhar, you have to somehow get it. So it was like saying it's do or die. If you can't do it, sorry boss. That's the kind of expression he gave me. With, of course, I was not very confident even at that time. As I walked into that hospital, I saw those people, the competitors, sitting and looking at me with the arrogant eyes that they can, because they have been winning over the last 3 years or so, and they knew that I'm coming from this company, and they knew it's only this guy has a joker participation, he'll just be there in any case they're going to win. And suddenly, because maybe I was pushed to the corner, I felt like a Jerry at that particular point of time. I thought when I looked at those people, those guys are the Toms. And whatever Robert told me at that particular, earlier in that session came to my mind at that particular point of time. I said, I am not going to get terrified. I'm going to get Jerrific. I literally said this to myself. Come what may, come what may, I'm going to do what a Jerry will do. You know, one scene which really had a long-lasting impression in my mind about Jerry when Robert was talking about all this is a disproportionately huge sized hammer which Jerry lifts and then hits uh, any enemy that comes his way, whether it's Tom or any other. So if you look at it logically, Jerry will not be able to lift that hammer at all. I was always amused when after Robert told me, I always used to visualize as to how Jerry would lift that hammer much disproportionately bigger to its size, and how it would actually hit Tom. So I realized at that particular point of time, I know I have to lift a hammer which is disproportionately of my size. But if only I can do that and hit the toms there at that particular point of time, I will be able to walk back to that place with that order. Otherwise, I'm going to fail. I probably will lose my job. It's a do or die scenario. And somehow that energy came. The way I presented to my customer that day, I know that I had already hit toms on their heads, including the customer. I know that I had actually made a sweeping impact on that person. And I walked out of that place. When I walked in, I was actually pitching in for a 30,000 order. I walked out with a 1.5 lakhs. I would say that was actually a transformational moment for me. And I went back. That month, I became the topper of the company, that 1.5 lakhs order. That was the starting point of a great journey for me. I realized what Robert said was true, that size doesn't matter, your background doesn't matter. It is all in the mind that you have. If you are able to think like a cherry, you will be able to achieve anything, whatever you want, you'll be able to achieve very strong achievements. And then if you look at the life after that for me over the last, I'm now 49. If you look at the next 29 years of my life, I have many accomplishments. Anything that terrified me, I used to think of a Jerry and then I get Jerrified. Even education for that matter. It actually, the thought of education terrified me, but I said, no, I have to get Jerrified. And I lift that huge hammer and then broke that myth of education being terrifying. One, I finished my MBA after that in style. And then public speaking was another Tom in my life. I was always petrified. I always used to get shit scared about public speaking. People say public speaking is the world's largest fear. So naturally, it was another Tom for me. Somehow I decided that I should get Jerrified instead of getting terrified. I picked up a huge hammer and then hit public speaking Tom also on its head, broke it into pieces. And then I was able to really progress significantly on my public speaking skills also. There are many things I can keep talking about in my life where I was able to really take it up to a different level. And I saw Tom whenever there is a challenge. And the beauty is as to how Tom started falling in love with Jerry. Many of my competitors, many of the people who were on the other side also, the way I exhibited confidence started liking me and they were able to align with me very strongly. And I realized that it is great to be a Jerry, be a mouse, be a lovable creature, but have a heart of a lion. And thereby you will actually be able to gift Jerrific moments for yourself in life. That's what I thought. There are many people who will actually have challenges. I also have challenges, no doubt. Everybody has challenges, but there is an option. There is a choice that we can make whether to actually get terrified or we can get Jerrific. There are so many of you who have already logged in. I'm seeing quite a few of you. And today, because you actually have a different heart, maybe the heart of a lion, that is why you are here. You are participating in something like this to actually listen to me, to validate what you know in your life. And maybe at this point of time, we are in different professions, we are in different walks of life. Maybe COVID has actually brought a different challenges in each one of our lives. Can we look at ourselves getting Jerrified or should we get terrified? I think that question has to be answered by each one of us. It could be anything. It could be related to a relationship where you are feeling small because of somebody else doing something to you. Can you consider that person as a Tom and get Jerrified and use that big hammer to break that and see how you can win over that? Maybe your business is actually a Tom where you're not able to know how to overcome the challenges that you have. It could be finance, it could be education, it could be anything for that matter. It could be sports you're not able to overcome, you're not able to accomplish a skill. How can you actually look at yourself being that Jerry and make an impact that can help you lead a Jerrific life? That is what I say. Today I can tell people, I can boast to people. Maybe I will sound a bit arrogant also as such. But what I want to tell is there can be 1,000, thousands of people who can beat me on my knowledge. There can be thousands of people who can beat me on my looks. There can be thousands of people who can beat me on my communication. There can be thousands of people who can beat me on my personality, but not one can touch me on my confidence. Not one. Whatever be the scenario, if it comes to confidence, there is nobody who can touch me on that. That was possible because how much ever small I am, how much ever minimum is my achievement in many things, confidence that I have is that of a Jerry. And I know whatever it is on the other side, whatever challenge it is, how much ever it is big, how much ever vast it is, how much ever powerful it is all in our mind. And with my mind, I've been able to accomplish many things as such. I can give you one example before I close. It is almost 27 years, 1993, January 23rd was the last time I took sick leave. Last time I took sick leave. And I told myself that I'm not going to take sick leave at all in my life. And 27 years now, I have not taken a single day sick leave. And if you can ask me, okay, have you not fallen sick at all? I've fallen sick. But because I've been able to put myself into a terrifying level, even fever will come on a Friday night and it will leave me on a Monday morning because it knows that I cannot shake this guy doing anything, being with them during a weekday between Monday and Friday. 27 years is a testament. And there are many things like that there with my mind. I've been able to say that any challenge that is there, I'll be able to overcome, whether it is small or big. And of course, I've been gifted with a lot of people. Many of you are there on the YouTube already. I strongly believe that each one of us has that potential. How much ever small we are, whatever background we have come from, whether our parents were able to give us the best possible education or not, whether we were able to study great or not, whether we were able to start our life in the best way, professional life in the best way or not, whether we had any skill or not in our life, whether we had anything that can actually tell us in terms of having a personality or not, if only you can actually understand that you have something far beyond your potential. If only we have the traits of what a Jerry has in terms of not giving up, in terms of not falling into any trap, not falling prey even to a creature like Tom, in terms of showing that size does not matter, in terms of showing that it is me who can actually lose on my confidence, nobody else can shake me on my confidence. I think it will lead to a terrific, not just terrific, a terrific life, I should say. I want to wish each one of you who are there on the YouTube channel, will be watching later, a terrific life ahead. And I'm happy to take any questions. I think we have another 2-3 minutes. If there are any questions, I'll be able to take them. Thank you so much. Love you also. Thank you for the nice remarks. I want to basically sign off saying the famous quote of what my Guru Mahatriya says. God's glory lies in creating all of us equal. Human glory lies in ensuring we don't die as equal. God's glory lies in creating all of us equal. Human glory lies in ensuring we don't die as equal. It is that spirit of chasing, of we not dying as equal, differentiates other minds, Jerry. And I want to wish you all fantastic life ahead, terrific life ahead. And naturally, I know most of you here, you can always call me and I can take questions offline. 5:28. Maybe I can stay for another couple of minutes if any of you want to ask any questions. Thanks, Pratima. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for the lovely feedback, lovely remarks. Yeah, Satya, go ahead for 2 more minutes with the same flow. As I told you, when I see people like you, many people ask me, how do you stay excited all the time? I have a very selfish take on that. Whenever there was an achievement, for example, I used to have hundreds of people who used to achieve, and I make a phone call to people and talk to each one of them for 1 or 2 minutes and say congratulations. So they'll ask me, why is that you are actually calling up 200 people or 150 people and talk to each one of them for 2 minutes? While it is exciting for us, is it not draining for you? I said, if my call can actually excite you for 2 minutes, imagine if I'm calling 150 people and I see 2 minutes of excitement on each of those people, it's 300 minutes of excitement for me. I don't think any human being can ask for anything more than listening to 150 types of 2 minutes excitement, and that really leads me to a great excitement, I should say. And that is how you handle a difficult situation in your life. I've told you, I think it is important that you look at yourself as a Jerry. Whatever you have, you will be able to lift the hammer and break anything, anything that comes your way. You will be able to achieve success. Don't lose your confidence. All of you, all Jerrys in my life, and we are all co-Jerrys, I should say. We will only flourish from where we are. Thank you so much. Loving you so much. How to handle anxiety in current scenario? Yeah. So, two, three things I'll tell you. One is, how I looked at life as such. If you look at the current scenario, it is level playing platform for everybody, right? Across the world, it is the same for everybody. It's not that, okay, suppose if one country had a disease or one geography had a disease, and then the entire world was otherwise not there, then you are talking about an uneven situation. Today, we are actually talking about an even situation. Everybody is starting on a level playing platform, and hence you are also equal with others. Whatever you do during this period will help you post that also. And second thing, I'm an optimist. I'm an eternal optimist. I always keep telling this to all people who speak to me. If there is one virus, it has a negative connotation, right? Virus can come and put an entire stop, put a stop to the entire world for a few months, right? It actually came and put a full stop to the entire world, or it has actually brought world to a standstill. Why cannot a similar opposite of virus, maybe you can call it with any name that you want, which is positive in nature, maybe we'll call it Cyrus. I'm just taking. Why cannot this actually happen, maybe in the second half of the year, and create a similar kind of impact across the world positively, and thereby everybody can actually get lifted? People ask me, okay, how can you think like that? Who thought about a virus like this that will shake up before the February of this year? And if that can happen, why cannot something like this happen? Right? So these two things, and then if you actually work on your strength, I always believe on my strength, and if you can work on your strength, I think you can come out of the current scenario anxiety very well. A lot more is there ahead of us in life. As long as we are alive, I think that itself is a great gift from God. If we are alive, we can do even if we have just one more minute to live, we can make a difference in some people's life. We can make an impact. Thank you so much. Loving you all so much.